Greetings, everyone. Today we're going to talk about a very important concept when it comes to African spirituality, when it comes to living a life of longevity and success. And this idea is fundamental actually in most cultures around the world, and that is the honor and worship of our ancestors. Our ancestors are very important to our day-to-day life. Our ancestors are those that have lived life, paved the way for us, and have now made that transition. And in Yoruba culture, they make a very important distinction that one's ancestors are, first of all, their own family members. When we give offerings, when we worship and praise our ancestors, we are worshiping and praising the people that were in our family. Now, there are others that have passed away, that have opened the way and have paved the way for us, but they may not be our family. And if they are not our family, then we do not worship them during our ancestral worship time. Our ancestors are those that are our blood. Yoruba culture also makes an important distinction that if someone lives life in a selfish way, where they don't contribute to the legacy of their family and their lineage, where they don't raise children, where they don't create things to hand down to the generations that's come behind them, that they are not considered ancestors as well. That those people came to earth and had to learn things, gain things, that they will take with them to the spiritual realm so that they can come back to earth with more tools in order to fulfill life thoroughly, which would be to leave a legacy in one way or another. And the way we interact and raise and develop our children is very important and very much in alignment with that dynamic of what it takes to be an ancestor. It's very important for us to understand that our ancestors are the very first thing that we must have a deep connection with when it comes to being spiritual, because our ancestors literally paved the way for us, literally lived on this earth and went through the trials and tribulations of life with the only hope that their children's and children's and children's children's would be able to live a better life than that they lived. So when it comes to honoring the universe, we honor the Almighty Creator, and then we honor our ancestors. The Yoruba have a very, very distinct way of honoring ancestors within Ifa and Orisha culture, and that is by within Ifa and Orisha culture, we take the beginning of our year to honor our ancestors, and the beginning of our year is June. From the beginning of June, we honor our ancestors by celebrating them, by taking offerings to them, and whenever it's time for us to celebrate our own household's spiritual annual festival, we always honor our ancestors then as well. It's very important for us to take time out every year to honor our ancestors. And another culture that comes from Yoruba, but by way of the diaspora, that is something that I encourage all of my students to do, is to honor your ancestors with every meal. Every time that we eat, we take a portion of the food and we put it to the side of our plate in honor of our ancestors, inviting them to come and eat and with us and to join in our meal together. That way that we honor them every time we come to the table or wherever it is that we eat every day. Honoring our ancestors is something that is very important. We must know the life they lived. We must also examine our ancestors, look to know their personalities, their likes and dislikes, and figure out which ones were most similar to us, which ones embodied the principles that we embody naturally. We must examine our ancestors to determine which ones lived the same type of life we lived and believed in the same things that we believed in. Things that are intrinsic about who we are, those things are there because we are the embodiment of our ancestors. We are our ancestors that have returned. Each one of us is an ancestor. Each one of us is a spirit that in some way or form or fashion had existed once here on earth. And by connecting to those ancestors, we are empowered. By connecting to those ancestors, we have a deep hidden strength that will allow us to be able to persevere just as they persevered. Honoring our ancestors is something that's very important. As I said, we do it with our meals. It's good to once a week take time to cook food for your ancestors with just them in mind. A meal that is cooked using the foods that they like to eat. Eating it in the manner that they ate it. And even sitting down and literally having a meal with them in their honor. Our ancestors are very important. It's good to keep pictures of them around the house or even on the altar or a specific area of the house. I remember growing up and many of my family would keep pictures of the ancestors on the piano, where the piano was almost like an altar to the ancestors. In one way or another, we should memorialize them by keeping their pictures up, by teaching each other and our children and grandchildren their names, what they did, what they believed in. We should travel to the places that our ancestors lived. We should try to bring the ancestors into our life as much as possible. The key to being an ancestor is having people on earth that still praise and uplift their name. The key to having success in the ancestral realm is having people on earth that can pray and uplift the spirit of that individual that's in the ancestral realm. All of us one day will be in the ancestral realm. So it's important that we teach those that are around us and that are younger than us how to pray, how to honor the ancestors, so that when our time comes, and I pray that it's as far in the future as possible, that we can be honored as ancestors through the prayers and through the practices of our African spirituality. When we live our life in honor of our ancestors, they shine their light upon us. When we live our life praising those that have walked our path, then those that are around us and that are younger than us will follow our lead and will do the same for us when it comes to that time in life. It's so important that we infuse the ancestors into our day-to-day. Make sure you say at least one ancestor's name every day. Make sure you do something that you know your ancestors did at least one time every day of your life. Honor them, praise them, and they will honor and praise you in return. We are our greatest ancestors' dream being lived out when you are living to your highest potential and your highest possible power. We are our ancestors' dreams. Look into your lineage, look into your ancestors, know who they are, and also simultaneously be teaching the younger generations how to honor the ancestors, so that when we become ancestors, they will know how to honor us. It's very important that we take the time to know and learn and understand what it takes for us to have eternal life. And by focusing on that and investing in that, we will never die. We will become an ancestor, then we will return to earth and continue the mission with the ashe and the spiritual blessings that we had in the last life. We should live our life in honor of our ancestors. Take the time every day and do something for your ancestors. Every day, when we shine our light on them, they shine their light on us. Do something to make your ancestors proud. Do something that enhances the presence and memory of your ancestors. Make your lifestyle in dedication to your ancestors, and you will see your life become more and more fulfilled. When we live the way our ancestors lived, and we take what they did to the next level, we will always experience success in life. May your ancestors bless you on your path. Michelle.